I didn't want to rush into this year. After Christmas, everything here naturally slows down anyway, and I realized I didn't want to fight that. I didn't want to jump straight into plans and goals or decisions just because the calendar changed. This time between Christmas and January, it always feels like a bit of a pause. Like life carries on, but at a quieter pace, and people aren't in such a hurry. There's less noise and I suppose less expectation. So instead of trying to reset or reinvent anything, I just decided to just take stock to notice where we are and how things feel and what the season actually looks like for us right now. And I suppose this video is just that, a slow start, no pressure and no big message, just letting things be as they are. On on Monday the 29th, we had the tractor run, and it's one of those events that doesn't feel too planned and rigid, but people know it's happening. You wrap up warm and you head outside and you stand with others and watch, and the tractors move slowly through the islands, and it's all lit up, and people wave and stop and chat, and kids get all excited. And it's simple, but there's just something so grounding about it. No one is trying to make it efficient and no one is rushing it along. You just stand there as long as you want and then head home. It feels like a quiet way of closing down a year, not with fireworks or parties, but with something familiar and shared. And being part of things like this really reminds me that life doesn't always need to be productive. Not everything has to be working towards something else. Sometimes the value is just being present, even if that's just for a short little while. And a few days after that, on the 31st, no, I'm lying, it was the first. So this happens twice a year in Orkney. It happens on Christmas Day and New Year's Day where they play this traditional game where it's just so beautiful. It's been played for hundreds of years and the rules are old and the structure is the same and it always takes as long as it takes. So 9 o'clock in the morning the boys go for it and 1 o'clock in the afternoon the men go for it. So basically aim of the game, a ball is thrown up into the air. There's two teams, there's the uppies and the doonies, and it can be quite an interesting watch. So basically, these two teams meet in the middle by the cathedral. They all huddle up. This ball is thrown into the air. Somebody catches the ball, and aim of the game is to put the ball at your end of the town. Um, so it is honestly incredible. So this year, actually, the boys' bar that started at 9 o'clock in the morning, the boys finished after like 9 hours of fighting for the ball. You can see them here. They're just these, this is one of the teams coming down towards the cathedral all ready to fight for their ball. So, such an amazing thing to have. Like the amount of culture and tradition in this game is incredible. Like 9 hours of people outside in the cold, pushing and holding and waiting and not resting and not eating and not drinking and then going again and again. And there's no set end time. It just finishes when it finishes. And watching it really makes you think about time and how little space we allow for things to unfold naturally now. And most of life is just so rushed and scheduled and shortened and squeezed into gaps. And this isn't like that. No one's trying to speed it up. No one is asking how to make it more efficient, and it's just allowed to be what it is. And there's something really grounding about traditions like that. They remind you that not everything needs to change or be optimized. Some things are just worth keeping as they are. I think January usually comes with a lot of pressure to be better and pressure to be organized and pressure to have a plan straight away. But being around things like the tractor run and the bar reminds me that change doesn't have to be immediate. You don't have to know everything at the start of the year. Some seasons are about doing less, not more, and about observing before acting or letting things settle before making any big decisions. I don't believe that there's anything wrong with taking your time, especially after a busy or emotional year. Sometimes the most helpful thing you can do is just give yourself a bit of space, and after being outside so much, coming home and making proper food feels so important. I'm just watching this video and I'm just, ah, nothing fancy, just warm, nourishing meals that actually feed you, the kind of food that makes you feel settled afterwards. Like, this has been our go-to breakfast for like the whole winter season, just bacon, eggs, and sausages. Keeping keeping it so simple and cooking at this time of year just feels so different. It feels so much more slow and intentional and less about routine and more about care. And it's not it's one of those ways I grab myself after the holidays, bringing things back to something simple and familiar. There's comfort in just making something that you know is going to nourish your family. Oh, journaling. I've been journaling a bit, not in like a super structured way. I actually really love this little journal that I got. It's called The Greatest Self-Help Book by Vex King. It is really, really nice. It's just super simple. Um, but yeah, just putting down thoughts and feelings and things that feel important, things that are feeling heavy. I really don't want to force clarity right now. I would really rather let it just come naturally. Sometimes we rush decisions before because we think that we should already know the answers, but I've learned that clarity often comes from slowing down, not pushing harder. Giving myself permission to wait feels like the right thing at the start of the year. I'm really trying to start this year gently. I'm not trying to push and rush into anything to prove anything. I'm just letting this space of life lead for now. And if you're watching this and you feel like you don't want to rush either, that's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out yet. There's time and there's space, and no matter what choices you make today, that the year is going to unfold either way. Tomorrow is going to come whether you like it or not. And as much as we can set goals and visions and aspirations, it's going to be what it is. You can't force results. You can't force things to happen. Things have already been laid out. Your plan is already made, and all you can do is just trust and guide yourself towards the kind of life and path that you want for yourself and your future and your family. So, that all being said, I hope you guys had a wonderfully beautiful new year full of peace and joy and happiness. And I hope this next year brings you so much clarity and love and joy and happiness and peace and prosperity and everything else good that could possibly come to you. I am so happy to be here for another year. See you on Wednesday.